3 for 3 with the Benoit Blanc mysteries. We're at a point now where it is starting to shift the culture of the murder mystery all-star cast movie. There was a question mark about whether they have the relevance that that type of story did back in the mid-20th century, when we got that kind of all-star event movie murder mystery. But between Kenneth Branagh's Poirot and Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc, it is clear that there is still an absolute love and desire to see these kind of stories told. I think what makes the richness of this kind of storytelling so engaging is the fact that effort and time is put into building the world around the mystery. That a average murder mystery is very much about who the murderer is, the circumstances of how the murder happened. Whereas if you go back to an Agatha Christie style, it was very much about building out your rich cast, a lived-in world and setting. And even though Poirot, Marple would be around and their shadow would be over the whole story, they were often an incidental character whilst you explored the world of that particular adventure, mystery, however you want to put it. And I think it's the same with this. Wake Up Dead Man feels like we get a building of a world with the Jack O'Connell character really be leading us into the politics and machinations of the priesthood and the cult of personality around Josh Brolin's priest. And it therefore feels like a lot of time and effort is put into building this gothic setting up this cast of characters who all have their own motivations, their own drives, their own arcs. So outside of whether they are the murderer or not, it's also a case of what drives them as people and where will they end up by the end of the story, and investment is put into that. Before you have, of course, Benoit Blanc come in and do his southern, eccentric, sometimes somewhat dozy, and yet brilliantly insightful and genius character to just unify the series. And I do feel like it's rich, and I am, like I said at the beginning, 3 for 3. This had a slightly different tone to the other two, but still felt consistent with them. And you do feel like, yes, if they can continue to make, if Rian Johnson, who is a master of building these types of murder mystery thrillers or these sorts of interesting environments, if he wants to keep doing it, if Daniel Craig wants to keep doing it, it feels like we could continue to have a Benoit Blanc story until the point at which they don't want to do it, or the heat death of the universe. But whatever the case, I think this is a really great direction to take this genre.